10th canto we're going to see. 10th canto is a very long canto, longest canto in Bhagavatam. And it being the longest, we'll not be able to study the whole thing. We can't do all of those verses. It has 90 chapters. 90 chapters, not like Gita, 18 chapters. Yeah. And some of the chapters are long, like average number of verses in one chapter is more than 50. So 90 by 50, 95, 45. Yeah. That's 4,500 verses. Bapre. There's quarter of Bhagavatam right there in one chapter, in one canto, more than quarter. So we'll skip and jump through the chapter. Like that, huh? Bhagavata Mahapurana, I told you last time about Puranas and all. So we have 4 classes of Shastras, main classes. We have, like that we have many classes. We'll not be able to name how many classes also. 4 main classes of Shastras called as Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihas. Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihas. Shruti is at the top with Vedas. It is authoritative. The authoritative scriptures in Hinduism is Vedas, called Shruti, of which the Upanishads are part. Shruti. Shruti means that which is heard. Heard by who? Rishis. Which can be heard by anybody who becomes a Rishi. Anybody who quietens his mind. You'll hear. Like Archimedes. Eureka. From the universe he heard the principle. He heard the law. He heard. Like that you can hear. Haven't you heard many people saying, "Oh, I get it." But from where you got it? Everything is coexistent. All knowledge is coexistent with the universe. Huh? All knowledge coexistent with the universe. No new knowledge comes or no old knowledge goes. It is already there and can't come or go anywhere. It is there. What you can do though is catch it. Just like Christopher Columbus. The land was already there, just went and saw that thing for the first time. Other people had seen it. He went and saw it also. Christopher Columbus was actually a very violent tourist. I don't know why they call him a discoverer. So, that's just to be nice to him. So the things are there, knowledge is there in the universe, and anybody who sits very quietly and quietens his mind, you'll be able to catch all secrets of the universe. There's nothing. Our minds are so extroverted, so we don't know about this type of science. But sitting quietly to catch anything. And this is what happens to people like Einstein and Newton and all the great people who discovered all these scientific laws and all. Their mind became so concentrated on that one thing that they were doing that brought single pointedness of mind. And the mind became quieter and quieter and quieter, and then, oh, it just occurred to me. People say in English, na? It occurred to me. Huh? I got it. Eureka. Like that. So all knowledge coexistent with the universe, and when rishis catch it and they give it out, that thing is called as Shruti. Because it is as though it is heard from Akash, from the Akashic records. It is heard. So that's why it's called as Shruti, Vedas, Upanishads and all. Then Bhagavan says in 4th chapter of Gita that in the beginning I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, Vivaswan gave to Manu. Manu gave to Ikshvaku. And like that, it kept coming down from king to king. So who is saying he gave? Bhagwan. And he's telling Arjuna, I gave it. And now he tells, I am giving to you because you're my Sakha, you're my friend. So Bhagwan is remembering what he told to Vivaswan and Manu and Ikshvaku, that he is remembering what he told, and now he's telling it to Arjuna. So that remembering and telling, that is called as smriti. Smr, you studied in your class. Smarami, smaravaha, means to remember. So from that smriti comes. So smriti, which is remembered and told. That is called as smriti. So the Bhagavad Gita is smriti. Manu, after studying Vedas, which is Shruti, he regurgitates the principles of Vedas in verses. So it's called as Manu Smriti. See? Like that. That is the second class of scriptures. Smriti. Smriti has to accord with Shruti. So if between the two there is a conflict, the Shruti takes precedence because the Shruti is the ultimate Praman, authoritative Shastra, Shruti. Smriti is second in line. But we don't have to worry. Smriti doesn't conflict with Shruti. Because after all, it's a sage that is giving. A sage who is giving. And if it appears to conflict, there is only appearance. It doesn't conflict. It is just that the sage is giving it in a new language for a new time. That is all. Like, for example, I'll give you a good example. Bhagwan is telling Arjuna, I gave this knowledge in beginning. Na? So now, that was very, very long time. A different yuga also. Now they in Dwapar Yuga is giving Arjuna. That was Satyug time. So that time, there were a lot of rituals and this and that. Because Vedas consists of an enormous amount of rituals. But by the time Arjuna came in Dwapar Yuga and all, you will see in the second chapter, there is a relinquishing of rituals, even the Lord's own words, relinquishing of rituals, because you see, well, that belonged to a different time and a different place. And here in Dwapar Yuga, now in Arjuna's time, he is giving, and he is himself discouraging rituals. The Bhagavad Gita is not by any means ritualistic, you see. Bhagavad Gita is not by any means ritualistic. Whereas previous time when he gave all of this rituals and all. Here is distilling that knowledge and giving it to Arjuna. You see. So, it may appear that the two are contradictory and all that sometimes, but it's just that the Rishi of the present age, in this case Bhagavan's avatar, of the present age is reinterpreting or distilling or taking out the essential things and giving for the age in which he is existing. Even Manusmriti seems at one point to have outlived its relevance, and Yajnavalkya came, and the Yajnavalkya Smriti also, for a later time to suit the times, you see. And this is a very great quality of Hindu Shastras. They can be reinterpreted. It has to be done by sages. You don't want to interpret for yourself. Yeah, I am reinterpreting the Shastras to suit local conditions, you know. Let it be done by... Otherwise people do all sorts of things. That's why you have to be awake in satsang, so that you don't miss parts, and so you don't end up with a misinterpretation. Who was telling? Guruji was telling, I think. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata abhyutthanam-adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya. When there is a decline of dharma and a rise of adharma, and one man was sleeping, and when he woke up, he only heard the part when there is a rise of adharma. He didn't hear the part when there is a decline of dharma. He woke up to hear the part when there is a rise of adharma. Bhagavan comes. So what is the conclusion from that? Let us all do adharma. Bhagavan will come. Now see what kind of interpretation, because you heard only half the thing. Because what in satsang you were sleeping. That doesn't mean to say in next life you become half a snake. They say in satsang when you sleep you become snake in your next life. So if you half asleep, you become half a snake. A what? A rope. You take it halfway. Reach halfway. Next life, full snake. Anyway, so the Shastra has to be reinterpreted by rishis. Not any Tom, Dick or Harry. He reads that and interprets for his own self, like that. So then, the smritis are remembered reinterpretations for the modern time. Then the third class is called Puranas. Purana means ancient scriptures, ancient, that have come down from generation to generation. That is literal meaning. Purana means old. Purana, Bhagavan is also called Purana. So now see, Bhagavan is called Purana. That when we say old, we don't mean old like how we get old, decrepit old. No, not decrepit old. When we say old, Bhagavan Shankaracharya describes old means that because Bhagavan is called Purana in Nashashvatoyam Puranaha, in second chapter of Gita. It means that which is old but ever new. Old but ever new. So, Purana literally means, in this case, that which has come down from very ancient times, from generation to generation. But that doesn't mean to say that it is irrelevant, because it is called as Sambhava Shastra. This is a most wonderful thing. You will have to study this word a little bit. Purana is called as Sambhava Shastra. Sambhava Shastra means that Shastra which talks about all possibilities. Shastra which talks about all possibilities. Like, for example, when you start telling people about possibilities, right? People are quick to doubt. No. I mean, look, even when we were in high school, and you start telling people, well, one of these days, they will make a small handheld device like that, and you could talk to people on the moon if you want also. You could talk to people anywhere on the earth. That seemed rather impossible just recently. Just recently. The Wright brothers invented the plane. And their father was a preacher. And that preacher had gone from East Coast to West Coast, and he had met a scientist. And the scientist was telling him from Berkeley that I think pretty soon men will fly. That preacher said, what nonsense. God made flying for the birds. And he came back to East Coast, and within a few years, his own sons made the first plane. That preacher's own son made the first flying thing. See? So to this person, man of God also, man of God, flying seemed impossible. But in Puranas, when you read, you see Pushpak Viman and flying crafts, aircrafts and all every time, everywhere. So in the Puranas, it is showing the possibility of flight or not, and which you just give human beings a little time, they bring that possibility into fruition. Really no, look at flight everywhere, Mars and all. So the Puranas like that show countless possibilities. Countless possibilities. Look here, how you have one brain that can coordinate two hands to play independently. Tabla people. And then I look at these tabla players, and these two hands like they belong to two different brains, Have you seen that? The hands like they belong to two different brains altogether. So good. So, the possibility which we see in Shastras of like Ravan having 10 heads. And you look here, if there's an infinite reality with infinite potencies, and he has made one human being with one head, and he is so intelligent, this human being, why that infinite infinite reality with infinite power, why he cannot make a being with 10 heads? Or because you have not seen it, why do you put it outside the capacity of the infinite reality? But you have to be real dumb to do that. That means you can think better than the infinite reality. You are actually delineating the boundaries for the infinite reality. But who gave you the right to do that? So in the Puranas, there are infinite possibilities. That I call it Sambhav Shastra. And don't put anything outside the capacity of God. This is Purana. When people look at it and read it, they feel it is fantastic and out of this world and this and that and not possible. And people call it mythology. They call it mythology. No such thing as mythology. It tells Sambhava. Now you just think an infinite reality with infinite potencies. What is impossible? Well, you can't say anything which would be impossible. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a disciple one time. A disciple told, you see, look, Bhagwan's hands are tied also. He made this tree to give red flowers. And after he did it, now his hands also become tied. This tree cannot give white flowers because he has already done it. He has already made it to give red flowers. He was pointing to a flower tree in the yard in Dakshineshwar. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, hey, don't say such foolishness. Bhagwan's hands are tied and he cannot make this tree to give white flowers because he has already made it to give red flowers. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa stood there and looked at the tree for a moment and left. Next morning, he came back, and on the same branch of the same tree there was a red flower and a white flower. He quickly sent for that fellow, come see. So we cannot put anything outside the capacity of Bhagavan. And you don't ever say that this thing is not possible, and that thing is not possible, and the other thing is not possible. Because in every ordinary little thing in life, Bhagavan has shown what you may think to be impossible, it is possible. What is the color of blood? Blood is red. When you put blood under the microscope, what is the color? Blood is yellow. Now what is the color of blood? Well, blood is yellow and red are the same. How can something be yellow and red at the same time? So I'm telling you, in every ordinary thing in life, Bhagavan has made what you think to be impossible, He has made it to be possible. Something can be red and yellow at the same time? When we were children, one fellow, these children used to say, huh? Hey, walk down the road. You will see a red house painted in blue. So I used to think, what stupidness. You'll see a red house painted in blue. No, that sounds like a contradiction in terms, isn't it? But look, just now I'm showing you. You have yellow colored red blood. Bhagavan can make it possible or not? Yellow colored red blood. So, when I encounter this Puranic characterization of being Sambhav Shastra, I felt, oh, the rishis really put a name for this Shastra, Sambhav Shastra. Any possibility you can think about, and what you cannot think also, are there in Puranas. So it's called Sambhav Shastra. Now, the Puranas deal with 5 main topics. I'll tell you this before we go. 5 main topics. The first topic is called as Sarga. Sarga. The second is called as Pratisarga. Sarga, Pratisarga. That third is called as Manvantara. Manvantara. Don't worry, I'll tell you what these things are just now. They sound difficult. They're not difficult, don't worry. Manvantara. Fourth is called as Vamsha. 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 And that last is called as Vamshanucharita. Vamshanucharita. So, Sarga is what now? Sarga is the first one now. Yeah? Back to number 1. Not number 6. Back to number 1. Sarga means the issuing forth or the manifestation of the basic elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. The issuing forth of the 5 basic elements from which the rest of the universe is going to be fashioned. That issuing forth is called as Sarga. Sarga. So this is the first main topic of Puranas. How these elements manifested from the absolute reality. This will encounter in your course, the Taittiriya Upanishad, when we get there. It comes in detail. But this is then Puranas also, its main topic. Then, the other one is Pratisarga, sometimes called as Visarga. That Pratisarga is sometimes called as Visarga. Not that Visarga dot thing that you have in class. 2 dots you have in Sanskrit, not that type of Visarga. Pratisarga, Visarga means now how the rest of the universe manifests from the combination of these 5 elements. So now we started Tattva Board recently, so we'll be seeing there how it undergoes Panchikarana, and there is this distribution of all the 5 elements in different ways to constitute this whole universe, guided by Sattva, Rajas and Tamas and all. And what a variegated universe. And in this universe there is no repetition. Say the Pratisarga means secondary manifestation, if you want to call. There is first the primary manifestation of the 5 elements, and then there is the secondary manifestation from all the 5 elements, all the varied objects and all which we see. All the things which we see before our eyes. They are made from the 5 elements, and there is no repetition. Can you imagine? No repetition, no two leaves on the same tree could ever be same. That is an amazing. Identical twins are only called identical twins. They are never. They are identical? No. Those fellows, man, after some time. So, they are called pratisarga, visarga, the manifestation of all, the secondary manifestation of all the variety, and there are so many wonderful things about this variety. And we see kinnaras, I was telling you. See the manifestation, kinnaras, they have head of horses and body of human. What do you call it in English again, you said? Centaurs. And a man's head. Oh, that's the other way. That is a kinnara. Reverse of a kinnara. Anyway. So the kinnara, they have from here, it is a horse. Not possible? Possible. Why? You don't think that it is impossible. That is because your mind has not stretched itself to intuit the possibility or to see the possibility. Just now somebody was telling, some article came, they were saying how water carries all the experiences with it, whatever it has gone through. So if this water has been frozen in an iceberg in the North Pole, then melted and came, and then was drunk by somebody and went through his body, and then went through a steamer in the steel mill to cool things, and this water carries all the sanskars that it has gone through. They're frozen, here drunk by this type of being with sattva, rajas and tamas, and they're boiled and turned to steam, and it's carrying all that intelligence with it. But if you cannot see the possibility, that doesn't mean to say that you should exclude the possibility. You will not be able to see it. That is okay. But you don't exclude the possibility that the water is carrying all this information with it. You see? Because though you don't know, even science doesn't know all the secrets about everything. They only know some superficial little thing. Many times they know this thing happened, but why? I'm telling you, I was just talking to the leading expert on anesthesiology from Harvard University. He knows that the anesthesia works, but he doesn't know why. You can carry it to a certain point, and after there you don't know why, how. Because I started asking that next step. He says, Swamiji, we know that works, but and since we know that it works, we are using it. But we don't know why. So, there are limitations of our intellect. We know, if you put a list of how much we know and how much we do not know, the list of how much we know will be this much. I will not be so sure about it also. Then, because our intellect is like, and see that intellect, when it gets associated with another fellow inside, those two fellows have inside, they have a little conspiracy group. That other fellow is called as ego. It's buddhi. And he says, ahankar. Mana chitta buddhi ahankar. When this buddhi gets friendship with that ahankar, well, he feels he knows everything. That is the problem. This fellow who knows nothing. Bhagavan is describing to Arjuna in Ramayana. Bhagavan is describing to Lakshmana in Ramayana. He says, this jiva is the one who knows nothing. And this jiva is the one who feels he knows everything. He thinks he knows everything, when really he knows nothing. This is an amazing thing. That's because the buddhi conspires with the abhiman, and then the buddhi becomes more blinded. So anyway, now, the possibilities of all things, all shapes and manners of things can manifest from these 5 elements. 1 head, 2 head, 20 head, 10 head, any number you want. And how they talk? See, they're doing heart transplant and liver transplant and kidney transplant, and Bhagwan Shiva did their head transplant for Ganesh. No, heart and liver and all. Yeah. Interspecies, head transplant, anything. Just now, Kinnara, na? Anything. From dust she made Ganesh. Dust. She made him. Why you? Now they are making babies in test tubes. No? So all sorts of cloning. Bhagavan cloned himself with every gopi. Every gopi was seeing Bhagavan in front of them. So now, when you see that, but you say, but the possibility exists. Now cloning has become a reality. So the Puranas show all the possibilities like that. Every possibility. Hanumanji is coming with that Dhaulagiri, but that mountain. Oh no, not Dhaula, but what is that? Today called that, what do you call? People go on, no, this, Govardhan. Hanumanji was coming with that mountain when they were building the bridge. Because they were bringing mountains everywhere to build that bridge. Bhagwan Ram told him, the bridge is finished. Over, completed, we don't need any more mountains. Hanumanji said, okay, no problem, put it down right here, put it on Vrindavan. Vrindavan is there and Lanka is there. Because the other end of the bridge finished. Lanka side. So Lanka is there and Vrindavan is there, so such distance. 3 hours flight. 2 hours flight. And Bhagwan told Hanuman, Shastra he told him. How he told him? Wireless communication. No handheld device also. So it's telling possibility or not? And it will come just now. All this is coming. So that's why Sambhav Shastra is telling every possibility that you could ever dream of or you cannot dream of also is there in Puranas. And this comes in the secondary manifestation. You know, it's little is manifesting. After the 5 elements, pratisarga. Little bit manifest, little bit more manifest, little bit more, another combination of the 5 elements, a new thing, another different combination, new thing, and the number of combinations are infinite. Ananta, limitless. This second topic that is called as Pratisarga. Pratisarga is very nice because Bhagavan's manifestations are wonderful. That is where the bhaktas revel. See, Ram, mai sab jaga jani. Everything is Ram. Bhaktas revel in this Pratisarga of Bhagavan. To see how wonderful he has manifested in so many things. Then the other is called as Manvantara. What is Manvantara now? Manvantara is the next topic of Puranas. Don't worry, we'll get started. I also thought we would get started, so I brought my book today, but I forgot I didn't tell you all of these things. I told? I didn't tell. See, we have time given in the Puranas in 4 yugas. You have heard? Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. Yuga is Hindi, Yuga is Sanskrit. And Kali Yuga. Welcome. So this, welcome to the Kali Yuga. Anyway, so the 4 yugas together constitute like 4.32 million years. And when that 4.32 million years, when they are over, there is a pralay or a dissolution of this world in which we are living, and it stays for the same length of time. And again it starts manifesting, Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, like that. And then again it goes into that lull, and again, so it is a cyclical thing, and whatever was there, that only comes back, right? And it comes back with, now see, each time we come back also, we will come back with the changes that we have made in this life. So suppose in this life, I put a lot of effort and I learned Sanskrit. That will be different from my past. Like in past life, I did not know Sanskrit. So here I put a lot of effort and I learned Sanskrit. So next time when I will come with that knowledge or not? In 6th chapter, you will see that. I come with knowledge because sometime in some life, I put a lot of effort. So that will be lying there dormant in me, the Sanskrit. Somebody only has to tell you, go to Chinmaya ashram, it will all come back. And some people come and decide, in my last life I never learned it, I know. It's all like Greek to me. You might as well learn Greek. Anyway, so when I come in this life, I will come with the difference which I just added in the life before. It could have gone the other way. See, learning Sanskrit is a positive thing, we say. It could have gone the other way. I learned to rob people. In a particular life, I could have learned how to rob people, become an adept. So I will come back with that thing. So each time I will come in a different form, not be the same, because in this life I picked up many things. In the very same way, when you have Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, and it goes around, in Treta Yuga, Ram avatar takes place. So that Ram avatar will be a little bit different than the previous Treta Yuga. Just like in our case, every time we come back a little bit, you're basically the same person, but a few changes here and there, and circumstances a little bit different and all. But in that every Treta Yuga, Ram will come. And so every Treta Yuga, there will be also Valmiki ji there to write Ramayana or the life of Ram. And every time it will change a little bit, because the whole cycle has changed. And therefore you have so many Ramayans. So I'm just answering this question because people ask, which Ramayana is correct? What do you mean, which Ramayana is correct? All our Ramayanas are correct only. All Ramayanas are just every time it comes. So we don't know which Treta Yuga this Ramayana writes about. But some Treta Yuga, and a little bit different. So now, when you put those 4 yugas together, they are called as one Mahayuga. Those 4 yugas, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, they are called as one Mahayuga. And 1,000 of those Mahayugas, now you put 4.32 million years, is one Mahayuga. And 1,000 of that is one day of Brahmaji. $1,000 of that is one day of Brahmaji. And that one day of Brahmaji, 14 Manus come. That 4.32 million years multiplied by 1,000. 14 Manus come. So you have to divide that by 14. And who is this Manu? Manu is the CEO. Brahmaji is the president. Manu is the CEO. He is the one who overlooks the whole manifestation. Manu. And his period is called a Manvantara. And there are 14 of them. So 14 into 4.32 multiply by 1,000. All the mathematicians who are there, you do that mathematics. But if 14 of them divide up this time, 14 of them divide up this time, and his period is called one manvantara. He oversees, he is the CEO. He is appointed as some exalted jiva who is really become a divine soul. He is given that position to oversee the manifestation of the whole Brahmanda. So then the third topic deals with this thing. Manvantaras. I just told, na? That's topic number 3. This is next, the third topic in Purana. And the fourth topic was Vamsha. Vamsha means families, dynasties. So we have basically, see, the world is also divided, whether you like it or not. The world is divided like that only. There is Lunar dynasty and Solar dynasty. What other dynasty? No, Tara dynasty. Lunar dynasty and Solar dynasty. And that's why some are bright and some are lunatic. Solar dynasty bright and that is just it. And I told you the two always exist together. Solar dynasty and lunar dynasty. It means, say, in one person, he has possibility to be solar or lunar. That's why I say on television, it has Looney Tunes. See those Looney Tunes? They have to be loony only. I see that fellow, he trying to, that Bugs Bunny. He's saying it is duck season. And that duck is saying it is wabbit season. He puts that gun inside his, there's a tree standing there, there's a hole. So he puts that gun inside that hole to shoot that duck. That gun goes and curls around and comes behind him only. When he shoots himself from behind. So that barrel of that gun, that is loony or not? That's what I call us Looney Tunes here. So anyway, there is the dynasty, two main dynasties. Two main dynasties are this Solar dynasty and Lunar dynasty. And don't worry, whichever side you belong, you have an avatar. Bhagavan Krishna belongs to Lunar dynasty and Lord Rama belongs to Solar dynasty. So you're okay. We have hope. Somebody is there to take care of us. So these dynasties are there in the second topic, of the fourth topic of this Puranas. And then that final topic is called as Vamsha Anucharita. And I see there, please pay attention to this. There, when we said Sarga and Pratisarga. Sarga was the 5 elements. Pratisarga is the manifestation of these 5 elements into all the myriad things which we see in the universe, right? And it is there where the bhakta has open play field. All the manifestation of Bhagavan. Isn't it? The 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, you can't even see, they are imperceptible. But when they go on, undergo combination and recombination, panchikarana and all, then all the manifestation of Bhagavan really come to vision. Right? So there the bhakta has an ample opportunity to see Bhagavan's manifestation and see the glory in all of his manifestation, which we'll see in 10th chapter of Gita. Bhagavad Vibhuti. Vibhuti Yogo Nama. And here now, Vamsha Anucharita. Vamsha Anucharita means all the stories and glories of these 2 dynasties. And it is there where the teaching comes. So there, where there was Sarga, Pratisarga, there is where bhakti is. Because you can get to see all the manifestation of Bhagavan. But here is where all the teaching is again. Through the Anucharita of the Vamsha, we can see how Rama lived, how Krishna lived, what he taught, like that. The Vamsha Anucharita is to teach. To teach us all see the principles being lived by the avatar and by these dynasties. Lived, or otherwise not lived, as they were supposed to have done, like that. So then we learn about proper living. We learn from Krishna about the absolute reality, because he belongs to this dynasty and then he's teaching such and such things. So, here in the Vamsha is just about those dynasties, but then the Anucharit, stories and glories of that Vamsha, is what does the teaching for us. A live example. And one great comparison which has been made, for example, is Bhagavan Shri Krishna is giving the principle in Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavan Shri Ram is living those principles. So you see, this is like the script and this is like the drama of the script. The script written here and the drama played out here. So you see, if compassion is taught here, how that compassion is practiced by Ram. He doesn't talk about compassion. Bhagavan Krishna talks about compassion, but Bhagavan Ram demonstrates this compassion, like that. So is it the Vamsha Anucharit, he's giving the principle and showing also at the same time. See? Vamsha Anucharit. So this is the fifth and last topic, main topic of this, of the Puranas. And that last group of Shastra is called as Itihasa. Itihasa. Itihas means iti asa. Iti asa. Asa means thus it was. Us to be. Us in Sanskrit you learn is to be. From that us, this asa has come. Past of past. Iti asa. Thus it was. So that's called historical text. Historical text. Historical means whatever transpired in the past. There's a documentation. This one came before this one, and this one came before that one, and then there's two scriptures which we have here. Puranas, we have 18 Puranas, 18 Upa Puranas. Now, Itihas only two. The Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are Itihas, historical texts. I hope you are following me. First, in the beginning, I told there are 4 classes of scripture: Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihas. And since we are dealing with Puranas, I went into detail about that. Purana. The last one I call as Itihas. We have these 2 main, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Oh, Bapre. Again, just now I told a little bit about our Ramayana. There are so many Ramayanas, And Mahabharata is so huge. 100,000 verses, it is said. 100,000 verses. Mahabharata. Look, Gita has 700. Gita has 700 and we have to study that. We take 1 year with Bhashya and all that sort of thing. But first you have to learn Sanskrit. There's another year. 2 years. Then to study that thing. I know, after first time studying, you don't get anything there. You have to study over and over. And then 100,000 Mahabharata, when you will finish? 2-3 Janam down the road, isn't it? It's Mahabharata, which speaks about this great dynasty. So this also historicity is there. And you will not, because it is historical, and we just talked about Vamsha and Anuvamsha Charita in Puranas, the two will overlap. And in fact, in this Purana, the whole Ramayana is there. In this Bhagavad Purana. In Bhagavad Purana, whole Ramayana is there. And then since life of Krishna is there, Mahabharata is also there. They overlap. So you find out this Skanda in this Bhagavad Purana, you will read whole Ramayana. Okay. So like that, 4 classes of Shastras and what they deal with, what they are about. So ours is now the third class, which is called as Purana. And I told you in the Purana there are 18 Purana, and our one is called Bhagavat Purana, Bhagavata. Sometimes called as Bhagavatham, sometimes called Bhagavat Mahapuran, and all that. And I gave you the history of this Bhagavat Puran, how it came and all, the lineage, that. Now, all of those topics which I told you, they are dealt with in detail in the first 9 cantos. So our canto is canto number 10, which is the biggest canto. And here it is dealing with this Luna dynasty, and specifically one of the avatars from that Luna dynasty. That is Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So he becomes, here in this 10th canto only is where he is born. 9 canto gone, Bhagavan is born yet. That means how many things to still talk in those, huh? And please do not put them aside, because we are studying the 10th canto. Don't think that the first 9 is unimportant. Oh, Bapre. Incredible amount of all philosophical systems, Sankhya, Yoga, Dvaita, Vishishta, Dvaita, anything you can talk about, you'll find everything in those 9 cantos, a tremendous amount of knowledge. And Vamsha Anuvamsha, amazing. So not because we have left it out, you think that it is unimportant to anything. The only reason why we have chosen this, look, we only have short time. First thing. Second thing is, it deals with the main avatar in the whole Bhagavatam, this canto. But that doesn't mean by any means that the others are less. So in your time, you get and read also. Amazing thing, all right? So now how this 10th canto starts, let me tell you now. If you have it there, you will see in the beginning, it's Rajo Vacha, you seeing that? Rajo Vacha means? The king said. Raja Vacha, the king said. What he said? Katito Vamshavistaro Bhavata Soma Suryayoho Ragyam Chobhayavam Shyanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Yadoscha Dharmashilasya Nitaram Munisattama Tatram Shenavatirnasya Vishnor Viryanisham Sanaha. Parikshit Maharaj is asking from Shukadev, not telling to Shukadev, oh my dear Shukadev, Katitaha Vamsha Vistaraha, you have told us the Vamsha. You have told about this Vamsha. Bhavata Surya, Soma Surya Yoho. Which Vamsha? The 2 Vamshas which we were just talking about. So, Soma and Surya. You have told in detail, like that, about these 2 Vamshas. And how in one of those Vamshas that Bhagavan Shri Krishna was born. You have told in one of that Vamsha. But that only whetted my appetite. You only mentioned that Krishna was born in one of that Vamsha, which is that Yadu Vamsha, Yadoho Vamshaha. In that Yadu Vamsha, Krishna was born. You only mentioned. But now you tell me, why, wherefore, whence, how, where, what did he do? All such things. I want to know now. Parikshit Maharaj is asking to Shukadev. And Shukadev tells a very nice thing. But he'll tell next week. His introduction, Shukadev's introduction is super. You'll see that. Okay. This is the beginnings of the 10th canto.